Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Pal Ever Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Warhammer painting video. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys, and it goes a long way to helping the channel grow too. Now, without further ado, this time we're going to have a look at painting those Hexwraiths that we got not long ago in issue 57 of Mortal Realms magazine. There are 5 of them, and painting them up all at the same time works perfectly, so batch paint production mode is definitely on for this one, and you can fly through. You can get these done pretty quickly if you paint them in a batch style, and get them onto your tabletop and get them going pretty much straight away without any real mess or pain in the ass or anything like that. One thing I will say with Hexwraiths are, if you haven't already built yours, they are a little bit fiddly, so be careful, and there are some parts that won't look like they sit very well, and that's just because they're older Warhammer. Older Warhammer models always tend to have a little bit of that to them 9 times out of 10, especially when they're bigger units and more kind of fiddly units as well. So, without further ado, I suppose we should crack on with it. So of course, as it's a ghost unit, it's a base coat of Corax White over the entirety of the model, and I'm layering over with Hexwraith Flame and just covering the entire lot. So it doesn't matter where it's going, you're going to layer over other bits and pieces later on, so just coat the entire model with Hexwraith Flame and you'll get a decent look out of it as well. If you apply too thinly, you might want to add a second coat as well, so just bear that in mind. Now, with that done, I've literally just dry brushed over Corax White back over the entire pretty much the entire model, and it works very well. It picks out all them raised edges and leaves the green of the Hexwraith Flame in the recesses. And then it's time to start picking out the actual skeletal steed and of course the skeleton of the wraith itself, and I'm just using wraith bone to do this. Any ivory coloured paint will do perfectly and we'll get a nice a bony look to the model. Once that was dry, I literally layered over Skeleton Horde. It's probably one of my favourite contrast paints for doing bone. It works very well, it's ultra effective and it does a great job too. There are some areas that you might want to leave out without painting up the bone, like the inside of eye sockets and everything like that, so they have that green hazy glow behind them too. And then once that was dry, over the majority of the actual steed itself, I layered over wraith bone back over it, just not going into any of the recesses. You could do this by dry brushing, however it'll be a bit more of a challenge and it'll be a bit more awkward, but you could do it if you really felt confident with it. Otherwise, a small layer brush and off you go. Very good job of doing it, really. And then it's time to add that kind of like sinew that's holding the jaw together and stuff like that, which for that I used Pallid Witch flesh. You don't need to do Rathgala flesh like the magazine suggests for you to do, and then Pallid Witch. You can just Pallid Witch over the top of it and it'll work perfectly as well for that. And then I'm layering over some good old dryad bark over the main staff of the kind of Reaper scythe that the Hexwraith is carrying. As you can see, I've already done some of the metal work as well, which I've just used Ironbreaker for that as well, which is perfect for kind of doing darker metals. And then going back to the sinewy areas, using Carroburg crimson. It does work very, very well. Just like the magazine suggests, it makes that kind of muscle kind of definition look, and can work very, very well. You can add it onto certain parts of all the horses and it will work fantastically as well with that. And then it's time to apply some Nuln Oil, probably one of the most overused shades possible. Nuln Oil would literally layer it over all the metallic areas. Fantastic, it does exactly the job that you need it to do, so have a bit of fun with it. Layer it on. If you layer it on quite thick as well, it will dry very dark and blotchy, which makes the blade look very, very nice, if I do say so myself. And then that for things like the hooves and stuff, well, I use Corvus Black. It does very, very well. I wanted black hooves on the actual steed itself, which gives it a bit of a different look, but also fits at the same time, which is quite nice. And that's it, pretty much. So with all of that, you can also do a few extra little bits and pieces. So for instance, the more flame areas on the actual Hexwraith itself, I added some more Hexwraith flame to it so it stands out and it's a little bit of a brighter green as well. Also dry brush something like Gorthor Brown or Baneblade Brown over the staff of the actual scythe itself as well. It makes it stand out a lot nicer. And if you wanted to add some extra highlights, you can add some Mechanica Standard Grey to the edge of the hooves and it will kind of make it stand out quite nicely as well. So, bit of food for thought. It's a very, very simple technique of way of doing it, so it doesn't take too long, but it will take, if you're painting them individually, it won't take too long. If you paint them as a batch, it does seem to take ages, because you're waiting around to drying quite a lot of the time, but it works very, very well, and because it's a simple technique, it's perfect for batch production as well. So have fun with it, get these guys into your Nighthaunt army, and yeah, have some fun. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now.